That's Arize with an accent. Not forget the accent. I'm a Nigerian American artist from San Antonio, Texas, by way of Kaduna, Nigeria. So I was originally born in Kaduna, but I came to San Antonio when I was around age of 5, 6. So if I had to describe the type of music I make, I'll call it Afrofuturism. I think it's really a blend of house, dance, and like alternative hip hop, alternative uh, like neo soul stuff, but it's really African influence. It has an African background. So yeah, I just call it Afrofuturism because I feel like that's the most simplest term to put it in. But um, what was the second part of the question?
And why do you make it?
Oh, okay. So, and I make the music. Honestly, I think it's just the music kind of stems from my insecurities and stuff like that. So it allows me to make music. My main inspirations would be people like Saba, Smino, No Name, the whole Midwest neo soul alternative rap scene. I think they inspired a lot of my formative years in music. People like Fela Kuti, me being Nigerian American, I think Fela and what he stood for, and as well as his musicality is just, I haven't heard of any artists as of recent who kind of matches that. So his bravery and his courage to be able to push the music in the time that he was pushing it, and his message is something that I definitely resonate with. And Kendrick Lamar, because I think Kendrick Lamar kind of does that in America in a lot of ways, as well as like Saba and stuff like that. So yeah, those are my influences, but it changes drastically depending on my emotions and how I feel. I think GSU being that it's in the heart of Atlanta and it's a melting pot, there's a lot of different people who like different type of music. It's done a lot for me personally. Being that's the hip hop capital of the United States, one, two, but also having such a diverse community of people coming. I think that the music coming out of Georgia State is very forward thinking and as well as innovative. So, for example, like there's there's a big African population, we have Afrobeat music here, but there's also like rap music and there's alt music, there's rock, there's indie, folk music, and soul, neo soul, and they're all kind of existing in one place, and I've worked with people in the School of Music who make completely different music than I do. So it's really, really dope to just be in that because it gives me the courage to be forward thinking in the decisions I make, as well as just not be too boxed in or be like, oh yeah, I'm just this type of artist. Because I think that being that genres don't really exist anymore, I think it's important to find your voice in that space, right? So I think Georgia State has kind of supported me and propped me up to be able to be exposed to all these different forms of music, as well as be informed about how to make my decisions and how to stand out, within the pool of so much different music, so yeah. So a lot of times I just look at myself like it's just who I've always been. So it's like it wasn't one day where I'm like, oh, I'm an artist, I'm a creative now. I think this is just me and my essence. So it's like everything that I have struggled with has always just been because of me. I don't think the creativity has anything to necessarily do with it. But I think, like things like time management, taking care of myself, making sure I'm eating every day. But like that's more of like a me thing versus like, oh, because I make music or I create visuals and stuff like that. Like I can't do that. I think that they do affect it sometimes, but like I think if it wasn't for like music or film or anything like that, I still wouldn't be taking care of myself. I would just be doing something else. So I don't think it's a creative thing, but like to answer your question simply, like I don't have any challenges creatively. The only way to get out of creative blocks is to create in the most simplest way possible. I think it's important to know your why about why you make music or why you make anything, and then also get inspired. It's like a language. Music to me is a language of sorts, and it's like to be able to inform others, you have to know how to speak, right? And biggest thing that you learn when you're learning a language is to listen, right? So when I find myself like, dang, I can't create anything, I listen. Like I'll listen to music heavy, and I'll be thinking like, okay, how does the drums interact with the bass line? Okay, what time signature is in this? And okay, the switch up, the beat switch up. Okay, what drum break, what fill happens before the switch up? What elements are taken out after 16 stanzas and stuff like that, and just like or bars, but just thinking about music in a way that makes it, when I can internalize it too, I can also speak it and understand it and create it. So if I could understand, well, dang, when they took out that that reed space and they added strings, it felt heavenly. It made me feel this way, and then starting to associate these techniques, these musical techniques, with feelings is when I start becoming the most inspired. Cause I'm just like, whoa, I'm listening to this Burna Boy track, and it's like, whoa, like this feeling in this specific part, like I love this part. Why do I like this part so much? And then when I start breaking it down, I put it in my Rolodex. Oh, that's why I like it. Okay, I could use this in my own music. And this, And so to answer the question simply, like I don't get creative blocks. I mean, there's so much music. We live in the 21st century, and we're in the digital age, so we have access to so much music. On Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. So every time I feel like I can't create, I just listen. I don't try to create. I listen. And then I just replicate feelings. I replicate the language of feelings. So yeah.
Strange from the flame in my eyes. I haven't felt okay since the day that my grandmother died. Abandonment, I'm stranded with the text to fix the facade. Watch closing in, can't even spit, deflect, shield me from crime.